can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. Hey everyone, how are you doing? I think, yep, okay, we're working. Cool, groovy, awesome. Guess what, people? First off, we have electricity this Sunday, so Magical Coffee Hour is on. I am apologizing for last week. Was looking forward to it. Held on as long as I could, but the power just wasn't cooperating, so we had to cancel because no power, no internet. You know how that goes. Missed y'all though. We're gonna have to come up with a plan B. We may have to do like if we miss due to power outages, because apparently that might be a thing I have to deal with in this location. I may do a midweek coffee hour or something like that to catch up for it in case we miss those. Just as a thought. Um, Dragon of the East, welcome. Legion of Lilith, hey, glad you can make it. Glad you can make it. Thanks for joining us. Thank you again for inviting me to your channel for the interview. That was a lot of fun. I highly enjoyed the conversation there. And real quick, Angela, that like first comment at the top that you made, behave, be respectful. That needs to like just post that every week. That just needs to become a thing. We might even need that on a coffee cup at this point. Thank you for that, Angela. Let's see, Angela, good to see you. Jade, you're in here with your new fancy haircut. Thank you for making it. I expect pics, by the way. Not here, like, over in Gilded. I don't even know. Yeah, not here. Let's see. Violet Star, good to see you. Maria, hope you're doing well this weekend. Is that Blue Star? Hey, good to see you. Danny, hey, hello again. Glad you can make it. And is it just? Oh, I've been. Let's see if I can move this a little closer. Blah, good to see you. Hi, welcome. It's been a long weekend, so if I'm having trouble reading, I do apologize. Upside, we got coffee. We're good to go. We are good to go. All right. So, for those who don't know, Danny and Legion of Lilith actually earlier, it was yesterday actually, invited me to their channel for an interview, which that was recorded yesterday and it actually premiered today. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I did make sure it's linked in the community tab for everyone. Hopefully you got an announcement. YouTube don't always announce those, but hopefully you did. It was a lot of fun. It was a very interesting interview. Great questions. And it actually, EA co-editing was there too. So that was a nice little surprise. But a great conversation. So if you guys are interested, go check that out. And again, Danny and Legion, I am very, very thankful for the opportunity to do that. We should do it again sometime. All right. See where we're at. Screenshot it for whatever. Okay. Hey. Okay. Maria, it was awesome. I loved it. All right, cool. Well, at least one of you's got to see it. That is awesome to hear. So, hopefully, you all have been doing well. I know things have still been a little chaotic here. I actually had one person ask me, what's it feel like to have all your stuff unpacked and be settled? I was like, I don't know. We're not unpacked. We're still working on it. So I do apologize that it's taken us a little longer than expected to get back into the flow and the norm. As far as YouTube videos and the live streams, those we've got those figured out. We're still in the groove there, minus power outages, of course, as always. Those are a thing. But we are in the groove there. As far as the live workshops and stuff like that, we are still trying to get a little bit of adjustment there because I would like to get more of the house settled before I start dedicating more time over there because I've already started picking up my one-on-one students and getting their classes started back up and everything, which for those of you who are one-on-one students with me, thank you for being so patient with me during the move. I appreciate that. So yeah, we're working on getting that all set back up and moving. So Thank you for that. That said, I will say the interview actually got me thinking about a lot of topics and stuff, and even videos I want to do. Like the opening of that video, they gave me a very, very heartfelt introduction where they mentioned me as one of the, I don't know, they said best or better sorcerers or magicians for dragon magic and fey magic. And that kind of threw me off because it's like, wait, fey, what? Because I don't think I talk about the Fae that much, but then I was also told by someone that I actually talk about it more than other people. It's that hard to find info on it. And I was like, oh. And I am wanting to try and get more Fae oriented videos going because that is information we need. It really is. They were correct. That is information that's needed. That is a perspective that's needed. So I'm going to try and get into some of those videos for you all. But yeah, that just caught me as a surprise. Let's see. It's always good to be caught by surprise. So let's see. Now, I've watched that channel a few times. Nice to see Drake there. Hey, Carmen's watched it a few times. Yeah. It is actually a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to go through much of their video log. I've been very busy with the move. But the videos I have watched, I've found them very interesting. In fact, one of the things we got to talk about during that interview was perspectives. And I think that is something we need to more of in the occult community because so many people dive into my gnosis is the only gnosis that is right. And they're going to die on that hill. And we got to discuss, how things and gnosises could vary from person to person or culture to culture. And how more than one thing can be true at the same time. So we had a lot of great conversations. And I won't rehash them here because you guys can go watch that. But it was a lot of fun. Now, I will say this. Some of you may notice they're doing an interview, and Danny and Legion, let me tell you right now, you guys were very nice, very easy to talk to, all that. This is nothing on you guys. It was very easy for me to remember the camera was there, so my being on camera phobia was popping up. I could not sit still. I could not. You guys can laugh at me when you watch the interview or go back and watch it. You can see my nervous posture trying to forget the camera's there. Apparently, I still got some work to do there, but that's okay. Luckily, everyone that was there was very friendly, very open, very easy to chat with, which super helped with that. And all I can do is say thank you on that one because it was just a really down-to-earth conversation. Let's see. All right. So do we have any questions? I know I've been missing for a while. If somebody, Jade, if you can grab that link, you can drop it in there. I do know it's in the comment section or community tab here on the channel. But if I click over right now, I'm afraid my computer is going to go cray-cray. So, Jade, if you can grab it, I would appreciate it. Or Legion of Lilith, if you can drop. I don't know if it'll let Legion drop it, actually, now that I think about it. But Jade will find it. But yeah, we'll get that dropped for y'all so you guys can watch it. Good idea, Karma. Good idea. I am actually planning to attempt to do either a short or a short video to mention it too, so that I can put the link at the bottom there so it's easier to find. Help them out over there on their channel. Oh, she found it. Jade got it. Good old Jade. What would we do without Jade? Probably not be able to turn on a computer. Now that you brought it to discussion, what is your take on tantric magic? Tantric magic is actually a fascinating area of magic, and it does have many different uses. I'll admit, most people, when they think tantra magic, they lean toward the sensual, sexual sides of it. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And it can be a great way of harnessing your focus as well as um, altering and channeling and redirecting your natural physical energy flow. Um, it's not a practice I use often. I'll be honest with you. I've experimented with it. I have utilized it. I've found it useful. In fact, I think during some of my fasting experiments, I even, I don't know if I said it on here, if it's just in my journals, I actually kind of correlated the energetic shifts and patterns to tantric work. So it can be very useful. I would just say, because now here's the thing. There's a few reasons I don't usually talk about it on here is because we try to keep the live streams and everything PG. We know that. And anytime you go into this area, people kind of get silly. But the other reason is there is tantric practice that is very reasonable, very responsible. And then there's a tantric practice that is borderline almost abusive of self. And so when it comes to these studies, since I have no way of knowing where you're getting your information or where you're going, I'd say use your brain, use your thinking, but anytime you do find it, if it's something, if you're looking at it and it looks safe enough and you've done your research, give it a try and see how it works. Because I will say this, it doesn't work for everyone, actually. I've seen a lot of people, it just does not help them. It doesn't. In fact, it actually tends to hinder them. So, not every practice is for every person. We're all wired a little differently. We think a little differently. We have different philosophies. And that's why different things can work for some people and not others. Or in some cases, 5 people tell you the same thing, but only one of them seems to register just because they phrased it that every little bit different, kind of the same thing. But if you're interested in it, it is worth looking into. I unfortunately do not know of any books or sources on it that I personally can recommend. I apologize on that. Let's see. We would cry with no Jade. We would miss Jade. We really would. No, it's not about sex. There's the category over there, but there's a lot more to it. There is a lot more to it. But you are correct. A lot of people want to focus on that side of it. And I'll be honest, the people who focus on that side of it tend to lean on the younger side of things. So we've all been young and dumb, so I kind of get that. There is a lot more to it. Definitely a lot more to dive into. Might look into doing a video on it. Might. See what we can. I have a huge backlog of videos I gotta get done. Let's see. During the West, what type of ways can someone cast a spell and which would you give the best results? Again, that's going to differ from person to person. A spell is nothing more than you taking your intent for a result and putting energy to it and sending it out. That's all it is. That is all it is. Any methodology you use to accomplish that goal is a spell. You sit down, you pray, that's a spell. You sit down, you light a candle with the intent of it drawing that result to you, that's a spell. You sit down and blow your nose, expelling your illness, that can actually be a spell. There's no right or wrong way to do a spell. All spells come down to the concept of concentrating your focus and your energy and your will and releasing it into the world or the multiverse to either move something away from you or bring something toward you to generate that result. As far as what is the best method, that depends on the person. There's some people that extremely complex ritualized style spell work works best for them because their brain really helps them get into the zone going through all the bits and bobbles. On the other hand, there's people that the bits and bobbles and all the excess, it distracts them, they lose their focus and they can't do squat. So they need to keep it really, really simple. There is no best, unfortunately. Let's see. Do you know anyone who has senses to help aid in a criminal case, investigating, finding missing people, etc.? I've done it a few times. I've met a few people who have done it. I always tell people to make sure you also do your due diligence on the physical as well. It's not a service I offer particularly, but I do know a few mages who have done so in the past, Maria. I'll be honest with you, if I went back and was still doing PI work, I'd be doing that right now. How long you practice Drake? How long? Without consulting my earliest journal, Legion, I'm going to guess 20 years. Sounds right, because it was sometime after I got married when I first started practicing magic, specifically magic. Now, if you looked at my religious background, my understanding of mysticism, spirituality, and how those things direct toward the will and things, that I was doing most of my life, because I actually did have a larger understanding of prayer work and stuff like that. Even when I was still in the church, it's just I didn't necessarily know that that was also component to some magic. So, if you look at it from that way, it'd be much longer. But as far as, I know what magic is, I know the bits and baubles, and specifically focused on a magical practice, it'd be closer to 20 years. There we go. So there you go. Legion of Lilith actually has an entire show on it. I wonder if I could get a few of the people I know. I need to get. I need to try and get a few of those people on here. Jeremy, how's your exercise going? Just wanted to know. Actually, pretty good. Pretty good. So, after the road trip and everything, my exercise wasn't going too well because I was so tired of being tucked in a hotel room and in a car. But my joints were just crap. But once I cleaned up what I was eating, got back on track, immediately got back into doing my workouts. It's been going really good. So many of you know that we started our 6-month challenge at the beginning of the year. Mine did not start then. Mine's essentially starting like now because of the road trip and everything. I knew there'd be no way I'd be able to do the 100% clean carnivore plus workout during the road trip, and I was correct. But as far as that jumping back in, it is going really well. The program I'm using already has me joint pain free, which that's a win-win. I'm loving that. Energy wise, I don't know if you all can tell, but my energy is up, and I'm loving that as well. Me and the wife have been getting out and doing more walking, which I'm loving, getting back out into nature. So loving that as well. So it's just been very positive here. Still looking for more and more benefits to come, if that makes sense. We're just getting on the starting side of it, but definitely looking forward to it to continue. Let's see. So I'm a nosy person. Would the spirits, gods, etc. be annoyed if I were to contact them just to talk? No, I do it all the time. Just be respectful with it. I mean, don't waste their time necessarily, but they don't really. I mean, I do it all the time. There's times when I'm working with Odin and I will contact him just to talk. Same thing with Freya, and even the dragons. So yeah, you can do that. And then there's also the times when like I'll have a specific question, and I'll pop in, we'll ask that question, and the question takes 5 minutes or less, but I still end up in an hour ritual because we just end up talking. That's one of the reasons, like when I say I view these entities as friends and allies, that's exactly why, because I literally can just talk to them. It blows people's minds when I say I don't worship. I will not bow. I will not kneel to an entity. And if they expect that, I mean, I'm probably not going to work with them. Egyptian pantheon as an example. That was something they was, dead set on. It's like, if we're going to work together, you got to do this whole altar worship thing. And it's like, see you later. That's no dig on them. That is something I won't do as a person. That's me. Um, so yeah, you can definitely do that. It can be a lot of fun too, actually. What? I have a question about rainbows. I mean, we say that at the end of the rainbow is a leprechaun pot of gold and other lore about rainbows, but are there rainbows dragons? So, rainbows are an interesting concept because a rainbow, as we know it, is a trick of light. Okay. It's essentially an optical illusion. And getting to the end of a rainbow um, is technically impossible because it's going to continually move as you move because the perception's moving along the landscape there. Um, However, that being said, the concept of a rainbow, the ideal of a rainbow, those things are something different than just your traditional rainbow. And the individual color concepts, there are dragons that relate to that. As far as a specific dragon related directly to rainbows, I will have to be honest with you. I've never encountered one, but at the same time, this may not surprise y'all. I'm not really a rainbow brightly colored person. Um, so that's not really a line of thought I ever thought to pursue either. So, you know, that would be one that another dragon magic practitioner might look into. If I have the free time, I might look into it. It's just a matter of me getting that free time and remembering to do it. Hope that makes sense. But as far as the individual colors, yeah, that would definitely be there. Night Star Tarot. Or Night Seer Tarot. Sorry, my eyes are messed up today. I'm a bit tired. Can the simple dragon ritual substitute for the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram? Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually use the Dragon's Flame ritual pretty much primarily these days. There's a few occasions, like if I'm focused on a specific path working, for example, and they have their own rituals. You guys know I don't alter the path workings anytime I do a path working for the first time. So I'd use those rituals for that. Um, but yeah, you could definitely do that. Um, basic Dragon's Flame ritual. Yeah, basic Dragon's Flame ritual can. Because I know so many people were really interested in the Draconic Lesser Banishing Ritual, which we did do a video on. And I know some ceremonial magicians who love that and still use it. But if that's a thematically thing that you want to do. You don't have to do it. The basic Dragon Flame ritual is the one I use. So yes, they can be substituted in there. Can you use magic to slow aging and its effects on the body or mind? I'm going to say theoretically, yes, you could, because by and large, I've used magic to help heal a lot of things and joint pain and other things in my life. However, if you are seriously focused on slowing down aging and mind effects, you need to look into your physical activity and your diet. Because you got to understand, if you're eating nothing but junk and trash and all you're doing is sitting in a dark room staring at a TV, not moving, everything bad that you're doing to your body, or let's say you're an MMA fighter, you're not defending at all, you're just constantly taking a beating. Everything you're doing to hurt the body is counter to the magic you're doing. And if you're doing something and choosing to do something that is counter to the magic you're doing, you're going to end up grounding out your own magic too. So you're putting limitations on what the magic can do to begin with, and your mindset is also going to potentially ground out your magic. So if you're going to do that, you really need to look at all aspects of how you treat yourself and your health and all that to do it, to get the best effect out of it. That's like the reason, so can magic help you lose weight? Yes. Does that mean I'm just going to eat tater tots and pizza all day, every day for the next rest of my life? No, not if I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. So I need to do those things in life that's going to help with that and the magic. The magic will increase the results. but can't counter just crappy lifestyle. I wish it could. That'd be handy, but it can't, unfortunately. I always thought at the end of the rainbow you'd find Leprechaun's pot of gold to be fake, because I once, as a kid, tried many times to no success. Yes, I did the same thing. And unfortunately, my love of science kind of broke that for me, because, you know, I've always been the researcher. I've been trying to dig into things. And so after a couple rainbows of trying to chase it down and it outrunning me, I went to the library, hit the Dewey Decimal System and the card catalog, and got to digging, and then realized, oh, wait, this is a optical illusion. Huh. So that kind of deflated that little childhood thing for me. But at the same time, everybody's like, well, that's sad. No, actually, it isn't, because yes, it deflated the particular illusion of the end of the rainbow thing, but it opened up a whole new world of knowledge and research. And that's the reason I love what I do. Every time I move to a new point, there's just countless new things to learn and research. And I'm a knowledge junkie. That is what I do. So for me, it was not a sad day. I was like, "Woo! Look what I found." Drake, do you know if you would do a video on Lilith, and when does the video with you telling stories about your time at Skinwalker Ranch Farm? Okay, the Skinwalker video we have not started filming. I don't know when it's coming out. Sorry. Would like to do some videos on Skinwalkers. I think that would be an interesting topic to talk about. I don't know if I'll do it as a roundtable or just a solo video. Still contemplating that. Your question on Lilith. Actually, Lilith is a video that is on my list. I've already been in talks with her. It's actually great to get a chance to reconnect with her. And she's pointed out that mine and her workings deviate a lot from popular opinions, but at the same time align very much with a lot of people who do deeply work with her. I'm sure Legion of Lilith understands what I mean by those comments. And she is encouraging me to do the video. So it's one of those things where her and I, because anytime I do a video on an entity, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I work with them. I talk with them about the points that we're going to hit on. And even once I finally shoot the video, I actually get their approval before I publish it. I really work very closely with the entities when I do a video with them or for them. So that is in the works. And I'm hoping it comes out soon, because I know so many people are interested in Lilith. I know a lot of people work with Lilith. I know people who want to work with Lilith don't really know where to start, and they're kind of scared. Some people's like, I've seen great videos on them, but I don't know if it resonates with me. And for some reason, they think the Southern guy can make it resonate better. I don't know. Maybe I can't. But there is definitely a lot of call for that. So yes, that is one I'm wanting to do. It's just let me finish with the working with her and talking with her. And we tried to shoot one. She did not approve it. She did not approve that one. So we're square one-ing it, setting it up. And I may shoot from the hip. Part of me is like, instead of going through this, I may shoot from the hip and see if she approves that one. Because I found sometimes when I shoot from the hip, the entities are like, yeah, let's do that one. It may not look as spit and polished and professional, but there's an authenticity that comes from shooting from the hip that I'm finding entities really like. So, yeah, I'm going to try and get that one out to y'all. And we jumped. Crap. See, where are we? We'll just pick up where we left off. We're right down here. Not Tarot. Using magic definitely slows aging because it keeps energy flowing. But yeah, that is true. There is using magic itself and keeping that energy flow, assuming you're keeping that energy flow healthy. I know a lot of magicians who don't keep that energy flow healthy, and it doesn't have the aging slowing effect. It can actually take a toll on the body. But you are correct. As long as you're keeping that energy flow moving and healthy and going, it would have that effect. And I know it seems weird to think there's magicians out there that are successful that don't, but there are. Yes, science done that for me after one day at science school. Yep. I love science. I know a lot of people is like it versus. I love it. I really do. It's always giving me something to research. I think I've told you all. I'm a nerd. If I have free time, if I'm bored, and like if I'm just sitting here staring at a wall, I got nothing else to do, I'm going to go read a research paper. That's literally what I do for fun. Um, I'm a bit of a nerd that way. Lilith has been given a bad name, really. She really has. I adore her. Let's see. Let's see. Anthony. Hey, Anthony, good to see you. Sure. You do break down concepts for us normal folks. Oh, sure. That is sweet. Thank you. That is. Thank you. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Because, I think every person who works with an entity, every one of us have a unique perspective in some way that entity has presented to us. And the more perspectives you get on any entity or any situation, the fuller truth you get. It's just like, a car wreck or any scene where you need to question witnesses. Every person saw the same event, but they saw it from a different perspective. So no one actually saw the same thing. None of them saw the same thing. And only when you put all the perspectives together do you kind of get the whole. And I think that's one of the reasons like so many different videos are actually still useful. What do the dragons think of? I do not know. I'll be honest, I've never even watched Game of Thrones. I've not even read the books. I am like I've been told to watch them. I was told they were good, except apparently people was upset with the last season or something like that. But yeah, I didn't follow it. It's like there's a few things from memes and whatnot I can recognize. Like I know there's a white-haired girl. I know that. I think she's associated with the dragons. And then there's this like little guy who drinks wine and knows stuff. That's pretty much the extent of my knowledge. And I don't even know their names or what that means. So how does one honestly make sure your energy's flowing, make sure there ain't no blockages, look into shadow work. If you're actually diving into self-knowledge and self-mastery, those things are going to come up naturally. And when you run into a blockage, when you run into a fear, when you run into something that's causing you a problem in your life, you don't turn away from it, you don't sidestep it, you don't put it on the shelf for later, you deal with it. And if you have this constant proactive focus to dealing with your life and dealing with the issues that are presented and utilizing your magic to do it and dealing with your fears, your trauma, your understanding, even your personal bias, and you're constantly growing as a person, that will naturally cause that energy to flow naturally as long as you're doing it. However, most humans have a real tendency to want to just be like, yep, don't want to deal with that. Like, take me, for example, spiders. Most people with arachnophobia, if it deals with spiders, they're screw that, I'm going over here. I throw myself into my fears for that very reason. I want to reach a point of understanding. I don't want that blockage to hold me back in any way. Those things will generate energetic blockages, so you really need to focus on those. There is also like one of the reasons chakra work. I know a lot of people are like, well, chakras aren't real, they're a concept. They may be a concept, but chakra work is still very valuable. There's a reason I put chakra work in the meditation course, for example, because that chakra work allows you to focus on this concept, this energy map of you, and examine it. And since each chakra has a relation concept, you can look at that concept individually and be like, all right, this one's supposed to represent this. How's this flowing? And you can actually examine to see if it's flowing well or not, if it needs work. If it needs work, you work on it. If it doesn't, you move on. And if you're doing these meditations every other day or daily, that just keeps that cycle flowing perfectly. And then in Dragon Magic 101, there's the Dragon's Flame meditation, which works by pulling dragon fire through your energy body. No chakras required. You could use the chakras. You can use them, or you can just do the energy body. and it's going to help to balance out, cleanse, and empower that energy body as a whole. So a meditation like that can do it. And however, now people's like, well, instead of doing all this personal self-exploitation work, why don't I just do the Dragon Fire meditation? Here's why. The Dragon's Fire meditation can only do so much, and it will also bring you right dead center, put you right in front of the problem. Like, all right, here's what you're afraid of. Get after it. And you're going to have to. So it's not a cheat code. Will it help you to balance the energy, help it maintain it? Yes. But it's also going to draw the very things you need to work on to you. So put on your work gloves, get your work boots ready. If you think you need coveralls or a biosuit, grab it, because the work's a-coming. But it's a lot of fun, in my opinion. Other people disagree with me, but that's my opinion. That's my window on the world. Can I add you actually make it all seem accessible? Oh, thank you, GK. Thank you. Appreciate it. Find out, please must know. All right. All right. Tell you what, Jeremy, I have a ritual tonight where I'm supposed to speak with the rulers. I will try to remember to ask that question for you, mate. Okay? I'll try. So hit me up next Sunday, and we'll see if I remember to ask. All right? Appreciate it. Do the entities in question have concrete or real form? Are they formless consciousness? Technically, most of the entities have no real form of their own. They take a shape that they so choose. Like Azazel's a perfect example. Azazel's real form is pure consciousness. There is no actual form. So his form is whatever he chooses to present. And that's the same with most entities, including like Odin and Freya. And Odin's form is a form of power and consciousness. The reason, so this is actually the reason why when a lot of people evoke Odin, for example, they still see this Viking. It's like, Viking badass. Well, the gods didn't like follow the knowledge train, get to the Viking era, like that's it, we're getting off, and exit the knowledge train. They've been continuing to grow. They've been continuing to evolve and to adapt. So, in all honesty, Odin wouldn't still look like that. He would look more modern, but he's presenting in a ideal and an image and a consciousness that we're actually expecting. Like the moment you let go of that, Odin will show a completely different view. Like it's very common for me to see him in robes or even a business suit. Like the dude looks sharp in a business suit with an eye patch. He is like just cue up sharp dressed man. Seriously. Anyway, that was a tangent. Damn, Drake, you're so well regimented. Really? Here I feel I'm just all over the place. Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. What connects us to our ancestors? Is it blood or is it something else? That's a huge question. That's a huge question. And I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure. Because it's not blood. You can throw blood out. So for example, I have many instances of adopted family. When I do ancestor work, when I call to ancestors, adopted family shows up. Well, they're not connected by blood, but there is that family bond. There is that unity that comes from true family. And at the same time, when I call to ancestors, there are individuals of blood who they're nowhere to be found because there was never a bond. There was never a connection there. So I think it deals more with that line, that connection on an energetic level that supersedes blood. There is definitely going to be an energetic transference within the blood, within the DNA. That is, we know this. There's an energetic level of the blood there. But it's not just specifically blood. If it was, adopted ancestors couldn't exist, even though they do. So it's a much larger picture, and it's something I've taken notes on, I've meditated on, and at this point, I really don't know how to formulate it into a coherent thought that makes sense to me. So I'm really worried I'm going to confuse you. The best I can say is right now is what I just did. And, there's more to it than blood. So hopefully that'll help you out a little bit there. That's actually a great way to utilize it, creator. It is an intense one. Very good on you. Drake, one of the first Norse spirits that approached me was Balder. Have you ever worked with or encountered him? Oh, yes, yes, yes. I've worked with Balder quite a bit. I actually enjoy working with him, which I'll admit, like, every time I've read the Eddas and stuff, like, Balder seemed boring. Seriously. Like, he honestly felt like the frat boy everyone liked, like the golden child who could do no wrong. And being the youngest kid who got none of the youngest perks and was basically shat on, and yeah, like I was treated like the redheaded stepchild, not the youngest. I got screwed on that deal. That made Balder's appearance in the myth kind of rub me the wrong way. Not gonna lie about it. However, that said, I'm always a person never take something, never judge a book by its cover. So my question came during the Norse path workings that I was doing. Why was Balder so beloved by so many? So the best way to find out, let's go have a beer with the guy, shall we? And I have to say, hands down, the dude is just nice, super easy to talk to, get along with. He has a really great way of bringing light and showing a situation in a way you didn't perceive it at first. It's like, do you all know that friend that, I mean, they can be as smart as can be, they can be dumb as can be, it doesn't matter. But when you sit down, first off, when you confide in them, it goes nowhere. You can trust them with anything, that guy. And regardless of their intelligence level, they have a way that when you confide in them, that they communicate and resonate and talk to you in a way that the solution just kind of pops up. It's just there and it seems so clear. And even they aren't necessarily fully aware of how they helped you, but they helped you. That's kind of Balder. That's kind of Balder to me. And I actually do adore working with him. And I've actually wanted to do a video on him because I don't think he gets enough credit. The only thing most people know is he got killed. He went to hell. He didn't get out until Ragnarok. That's pretty much what most people know of him. Let's see. You recently gave me advice about addiction and depression, and I've had a spiritual breakthrough focusing on how seem to travel through sleep. I am glad you have had that breakthrough. It's always good to see people progressing and doing better in life. Always. Anthony, hey mate, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Yes, I will include you in this week's spell working, definitely. Which is another thing. If anyone doesn't know, if you ever do make a donation of a super chat of $5 or more, you're automatically included into a weekly spell working that I do on Monday or Tuesday to it's just general luck, prosperity, well-being, health, those kinds of things. Let's see. Fantastic answer. Thank you. No problem. No problem. No, Balder does not get enough attention. He really does not. He doesn't. So Balder isn't like, I've not played the Norse version of the God of War games. But from what I know of them, I'm willing to bet not. I am willing to bet not because they made most of the deities in that game completely contrary to their actual mythos. Yeah. So yeah, I would not, basically, as a general rule of thumb, if it's from Marvel or God of War, don't use it as mythology. Just don't. Oh, Danny, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. What's up to you? I really need to mention those super chats at the start of stream, don't I? I'm bad at that. I am my own worst advertiser. So, let's see, the creator Drake. I tried asking several times. I was wondering, I want to work with the unicorns more deeply for personal healing and healing on others. Anyone I need to talk to unicorn wise? Well, when it comes to unicorns, the ones I've encountered have all been from the Feywilds, and they're not exactly an entity that I would generally view as healing. Because, like, okay, granted, I spend a lot more time on like the dark Fey, winter Fey kind of side, and those unicorns are downright mean. They like one of the meanest little rascals I've ever seen. They actually, like, Mab uses one as a war mount, which is really impressive, to be honest. That's not to say they couldn't heal. It's just I don't know how you'd go about negotiating that peacefully, because every time I've ever been to the Fey Realms, all you get is warnings about unicorns. I've never actually encountered a unicorn that fits our current, like, lawful good celestial goody two shoes healing last unicorn movie version. I'm not going to say they don't exist. I've not encountered one. My guess is they're either harder to find in the side of the Fey Realms I spend most of my time on, or they're going to be somewhere in the other side, if they exist. Because our ideal of them had to come from somewhere. But with that said, your best bet is if you have a way, if you know any Fey that you can work with and reach out to, they would be the better ones to put you in contact with them. That's where I would start, based on my experiences. Let's see. That is why you have Jade. Keep you going. That's why you have Jade to keep you going. Jade, I think you just got promoted to marketing manager. Are thought forms just as effective as servitors? Actually, this is somewhat controversial. So, the original technical magician's lexicon concept of a thought form and a servitor are the same thing. The only separating fact is a thought form is created at random from emotions or thoughts, and it just wanders off. Whereas a servitor is a thought form created with an intent, and it is under the control of the magician. It's the same thing. Technically speaking, there's a lot of people who get a little uppity and a little bitchy about that, but that is the older concepts and terms. And I'm just using those. And if you disagree with them, you're groovy to disagree with them. I don't mind it one bit. But by and large, they are the same thing. Gallery of Magic has a fantastic book on servitor magic. If you're interested in that, check it out. We also did do a video on servitors here on the channel that really breaks it down and simplifies it. So if you're interested in servitor magic, check that out. But yeah, thought forms are just, well, in some cases, some people would even view thought forms as slightly weaker than servitors because they create at random, so they're not as solid. And then the servitor, where it was created with intent, has a bit more solidity to it. So in that case, under that premise, the servitor would actually be better. So you got to look at, try to recognize both sides of that fence there. Let's see. In case you all are joining. Oh, yeah, the gilded community. Thanks, Jade. Yeah, we got a gilded community where people can come in, chat, goof off, have some fun. Share research and ideals. It's also where, if you join the 6-month challenge when we do them, where you take part in those. Here is the link to Drake's online school. Oh, yep, that too. Thanks, Jade. What would I do without you, Jade? Everyone needs a friend like Jade. They really do. But if you have a friend like Jade, appreciate them. Don't overlook them. Don't overlook the things they do for you. Appreciate them. They are wonderful friends. Appreciate them. Make sure they know you care and you're grateful for all the things they do for you. Always found nice unicorns, but they are like flighty, hard to talk to. Should I talk to Queen Tatiana and King Orbro? If you can reach out to them, like me personally, Tatiana and me, we butt heads a little too much. Oberon, not spent a lot of time talking to, so I really can't comment there. But if you are able to reach out to the Queen of Summer, yeah, that would be a good place to start. Shard, Jade rocks. Yes, he does. Look at that, Jade. Trophies, not seer tarot. Can servitors be created to assist in astral travel? I'm going to say yes, but here's the thing. Every magician I know of who's done experiments with this has had varying levels of results, and none of them have really had tangible, reliable results that like get me excited. But you can. Now, like, can you create a servitor that can help in the astral? Definitely. That's easy because they're mostly energetic entities of them helping you and following you around in the astral. You can do. I actually know a magician who has a servitor that helps him in the astral, and he even modeled it after the little guys banging coconuts from Monty Python. So, which to this day, like I bumped him twice in the astral, and I lost my focus. I started laughing too hard. I couldn't help it. I lost my focus. But that said, to get you to that, the big thing is if your arcane senses aren't developed and they pull you into astral travel, you still won't know it because you're not able to perceive your surroundings if your senses aren't already attuned. So a servitor usually works best if it has one primary function, not multiple, usually. It's not always the rule, but usually, especially if you're new to it. So you would need one to help you develop your senses. You would need one to help you with the transition to the astral. And then you would need one to actually help you on maintaining the focus in the astral. Technically, I would actually think these last two could be wrapped into one and still count as one prime function. I really do. So I would say it could be done. The reliability and how well it would work would depend on how you constructed it and the thought processes that go into it. From all the magicians I've talked to, therein lies the riddle. Me, myself, I've never used one in that capacity, so I've never tried to sort through the riddle myself. And most of my students, I can't think of a student of mine that's had me help them through that one. So yeah. Is it possible? Yes. Do I know the details of the best way to approach that one? No. That would be the most honest answer I can give you, mate. What's a servitor? A servitor is an energetic construct created by a magician with the intent that essentially focuses like a helper or even a living spell. They can be crafted to help you in almost any scenario. So some of them work for protection, in which case they'll help alert you to dangers, or they'll even like steer dangerous people away from you and help you to remain safer in scenarios. Many of them can help you, can help draw prosperity. They will draw people to you with opportunities. They will point out opportunities to you, but it's still on you to actually, take the opportunity and think for yourself. But it's essentially a energetic entity constructed by the magician. We have a video on them somewhere on the channel. Give it a check out. They're a lot of fun. I love servitor magic. It can be a lot of fun. Let's see. Danny, do you find yourself translating languages a lot from spirits? For some reason, spirits love to talk in different languages. Yes, Danny, I've had to do this. There's times when usually if I just like, I don't know what you're saying, they'll clarify it. However, there's also times where they'll keep repeating either a phrase or a word constantly in the same language. It's at these times where I make sure to try and write it down as much as I can and try to find out where it's from and try to find the translation of it, because sometimes hidden inside the actual translation of the origin is a meaning that doesn't show up just in the English context. You know what I mean? So in those cases, I pay really close attention to it. But usually, like if they're just talking in another language, as long as like, hey, I don't know what you're saying, they'll clarify it. Also, another thing you can do is you can actually work to try and match your energy with the language they're speaking. Language itself generates an energy pattern. This is why stuff like vibrational magics or golder and stuff like those work so well. So if you pay attention to the energy that that language is in while they're speaking it, especially during evocation and astral travel, you, instead of them translating it, you start to hear the translation automatically, which is really fun and cool to do. Um, I've been trying some experiments with this in like the really real world, and unfortunately, I don't have enough people to test. But so far, I've not been able to get it to work well. Like I can get basic meanings at this point, which is good because I can't hear accents well. I really suck at hearing accents. My buddy Nitro's mama smacks me every time I meet her because I keep saying "huh." Um, what am I going to do? Anywho, love her to death though. She's still a nice lady. But yes, I do actually find that happening, and it's something to pay attention to in my mind. Whew, okay, what do we got? I was wondering if you know about the Zozo demon. I saw on a ghost show he was haunting some people. Okay, so Zozo or Zuzu, which is often pronounced sometimes. This is a name and an entity or a demon that gets thrown around a lot in pop culture and also within the occult and even like ghost hunting world. And one of the first instances we see of it pop up within that kind of cultural references does come from like the Warrens. And don't get me wrong, as someone who does magic and someone who enjoys like ghost hunting and stuff, I'm going to give the Warrens the credit for making that more mainstream. But at the same time, there's a lot of the Warrens' work that I'll be hands down, I full on question. I've seen their museum. As a magician walking through there, there was no energy, there was no wards, there was no protection. Like I could go into any random apartment that no one doesn't live in, and it'd be just as energetically dead. So that makes me personally question the authenticity there. However, however, before you all say Drake said the museum bonk, I said the museum didn't have energy in it. I have no way to know if those what is showed to the public is a replica or the real item. If it's a replica, well, it's a replica. It wouldn't have that energy now, would it? Um, so I I question that. And so when it comes to this demon, I've never directly worked with it in any way. I have been to a few places it was said to have been located or haunted or whatnot. And again, the energy pattern was just kind of just not there. Um, and it seems like anytime I've asked other entities about it, they seem to register it as a very unimportant something. I'm sure there's other magicians who's probably had different results or whatnot. That's just been my personal results, mate. And so um, I don't want to write it off as a nothing because there's still that cultural influence there, and that's got to, it's going to have a curiosity for me. But at this time, I don't really have a lot to go on there. Unfortunately, I do apologize on that one. I would say if more often than not, like in hauntings, when I have found genuine hauntings, it wasn't a demon in any instance. It was actually a pissed off human spirit. Because let's be honest, humans are assholes, and an asshole in life will be an asshole in death. So more often than not, it tends to be a angry human spirit or a human spirit who's not an angry person, but you did do something to piss them off, which is legit. That's legit. There's nothing wrong with throwing a plate or jumping out of a shower head and scaring somebody when they did something to piss you off. Let's be honest. If I could scare the bejesus out of every person who irritated me or pissed me off, I'd be doing it. I'm just petty like that, I guess. Do I think Buddhism is good for peace and increased psychic abilities? Hard to say. I know a few Buddhists. They tend to be a bit more calmer in personality and whatnot. Most of the ones I know don't really give one rat's patootie about magic, so I can't really comment on that. As a general thing, you all know I'm not a religious or spiritual person. So when it goes to following a spiritual path or a religious path for self-mastery. I don't know if I'm the right guy to comment directly. The best I can do is say that I've seen a lot of people who have benefited from it, even though I haven't. Though it wasn't the right road for me, many people do. And it's weird, actually. I've led more people to Jesus since leaving the church than when I was in it. That's kind of weird. But I did. And so if you're actually drawn to it, I would say do your research, do some study on it, look into it and see. You may actually find something enlightening there for you. There's nothing wrong with taking a peek in there and seeing if it's right for you. Every person's a little bit different. And if you want my honest opinion, I think spiritual paths and religion kind of go with that. They're not for everybody. And not every path will work for everybody. You're going to have to find the one that actually resonates with you. That's what's going to make it work. Sounds like you need to program the servitor like a computer, or it could do something like it's. From what I understand of computer programming, that does sound very similar. Yeah, that we'd have to get my wife or somebody that knows computers better to answer that one. Technology hates me. Let's see here. Oh, and there's the clocks. I knew it. I knew it wouldn't take long. Danny, do you work with voodoo spirits? Okay. Normally I don't talk about voodoo on this channel. However, Danny, yes, I do. I was honored to be initiated into a family line of Louisiana voodoo. The Bella family, actually. And I did consider it a real honor. Due to the initiatory side of it, I don't talk a lot about here, and it can, yeah, it gets sketchy, but I do work with them. I have enjoyed it. It's definitely different from practically any other path of magic or study that I've ever followed. And one of the reasons, like, people's like, why don't you talk about it more if you're so honored and proud of it? Well, there's two sides of voodoo. There is the magic side of voodoo, and then there's the more religious side of voodoo. And my initial hesitation to even initiate was, I don't like religion. Y'all know that. So, Graham Bella, she won't let me call her by her first name, but Graham, she said the religion wasn't the side that the Loa assured her that they wanted me brought to. So, at least the magic and working with the Loa that I have done, and it was life-changing. And weirdly, I did not know what I was getting into. I'll be honest with you. And had I known what I was getting into then, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I'm glad I didn't know, because it's an entirely different beast. But yes, I do. And it's not something that I talk about too often because of that. Hope that answers the question somewhat. I think, Drake, that you are so powerful, you probably kicked out all the supernatural. I don't doubt that. I don't foresee the multiverse running from some crazed redneck. Like, well, maybe they will. Maybe they view me like Florida guy. Only I'm more like Tennessee, Kentucky guy. I don't know, but maybe. I don't know. So let's see. All right, everybody, we are going to get ready to wrap up. This was great. Again, I am so sorry I missed y'all last week. The power hand just messed with my plans. Threw off my whole day. Hopefully you all have a great week. We got a video coming out Tuesday. I'll be honest with you, my brain's scrambled. I don't remember what it's on. So bear with me. If you haven't checked out Legion of Lilith and the interview that I did with them, go check it out. It was actually a great time. I had a lot of fun doing that. And we may actually look into perhaps inviting them over for one of our roundtable videos when we get back to doing roundtables. Both me and Jade's got to settle down, because here I had to move, then Jade had to. Everybody's been moving. Nobody's staying in the same place right now. It's been crazy. which those of you in the gilded community know it's been crazy over there just with everything. And I do have to thank the admin. You guys made my ability to do the move and everything a lot easier. I didn't have to worry, so I appreciate that. And with that, I will see you all next week. We will probably be doing a members only live stream this week. I haven't nailed down the exact date. I want to do it this week. Okay. I'm going to try for tomorrow, but I haven't nailed it down. So if you're on the Patreon and the YouTube channel membership, keep your eyes on the community tabs there. I will be posting the announcement of the time and the day, and then, of course, the link so you all can join me. And if you don't make it, remember, there's going to be a replay of it for the members only. The members only stays members only. So if you're interested in joining in some of those shenanigans over there, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel or Patreon for that stuff. I swear to God, I'm forgetting something, but I'll remember it later. I know I will. All right, everyone, you all have a fantastic evening. I'm going to go drink some coffee, see if I can find my brain wherever I dropped it, because clearly I ain't got it with me right now, but that's okay. I will find it, or next week will be just as scattered. We'll see. Yeah, members are the paid YouTube member thingy, and Patreon. Yeah, paid. Yeah. No. Yeah, YouTube has the channel membership, which we have that option, or Patreon, because people we wanted to go over to just one or the other, but I've had so many people who refuse, and they're like, "Why don't you offer both?" And I was like, "All right, fine, I'll offer both." So I do the best I can. Oh! I was asked about my coffee cup at some point. Apparently, I haven't said it in too long or something. We actually do have these. We actually sell these little coffee cups. This is the artistic dragon eye seal. There should be below most of the videos, there should be a little bar of pictures where you can see the dragon's eye seal tapestries and stuff. You should be able to find the coffee cup there too, if you want a coffee cup. So for the individual who emailed me, I already told them that, but I'm letting you all know because apparently I don't ever say it, is what I'm being accused of. So now I'm saying it. There we go. All right. All right, everybody. You have a fantastic week. Keep doing your best. Keep pushing forward in your practice. Keep working to self-mastery, self-empowerment. And remember, we all fall down. Falling down is not a problem. Falling down is not a failure. You get back up, you dust yourself off, and you continue to move forward. We have not failed until we what? Until we quit, until we give up. Falling down is not failure. Falling down is part of the process. All right. See y'all next week. Take care. Good night.